Welcome back to the Thermo Diet Podcast. I'm your host, Jayton Miller, and I just wanted to add another preface to this episode. We're still working remotely at the moment, so the audio of this episode is going to be a little less high quality. The video might be a little less high quality, but nevertheless, I hope there's some good information in here for you, and I hope you found some value in this episode. Let's get into it. I am doing a solo podcast. I'm going to be talking about nutrition and mental health today. So if you see me looking over to the left here in the video, that's why I'm just going to glance at some notes. But I feel like the role that nutrition plays and the role that our physiology plays in our mental health is extremely undervalued. Our physiology plays a phenomenal role in our psychology, and it's in the reverse relationship as well. Our psychology plays a very significant role in our physiology. So we need to make sure that we're taking care of both ends of the spectrum. And so whenever we take care of our physiological system, our body, it's a lot easier to take care of our mental health. And it's been shown time and time again in scientific literature that eating a healthy diet and eating in a way that alleviates micronutrient deficiencies and allows for hormonal balance to take place within the system is going to improve mental health. So take care of your body and you'll take care of your mental health. But first of all, how do we define a healthy diet? In terms of Thermo, it is something that alleviates micronutrient deficiencies and allows for hormonal balance within the system to take place. This creates a system that is able to effortlessly produce energy as ATP and utilize that energy for things like healing, growth, reproduction, etc., etc. So whenever this is achieved, you tend to get rid of things like inflammation and stress that can be catabolic to the system and begin to make things go haywire over time. Some of the physiological things that can contribute to poor mental health is poor digestion. So if your digestion is not regular and you simply do not go to the bathroom often enough, or you're going to the bathroom too often, this is going to have a significant impact on your mental health. So if your digestion is not regular enough, this tends to cause headaches for a lot of people because of the pressure that is actually being built up against the intestinal wall. People have been known to have migraines and things like that whenever they are constipated and are kind of backed up. They're not regular enough. So that's very important. And then if you are going to the bathroom too often, say you have the runs or something like that, that tends to lead to less nutrient uptake in the digestive system. And then that's going to result in less nutrition for the body. And that's just going to result in an overall catabolic system. So you want to make sure that your digestion is on point to make sure that you're taking care of your mental health as well. The next thing is poor circulation. Poor circulation plays a role because it delivers nutrients all throughout the body. One of the analogies that Tyler Woodward used in a previous podcast was the analogy of a postal system. Our blood delivers all of the nutrients and hormones and other chemicals around the body to the tissues that they are needed. So it's very important to have proper circulation. It's also very important for removing different kinds of waste material. So from, helping to move out CO2 or different kinds of toxins that we have built up in the system. It's very important for that. The next thing that kind of goes into digestion is too much endotoxin. So endotoxin is also known as lipopolysaccharide. It is produced in the outer shell of gram-negative bacteria. And this is a compound that can get into the bloodstream. It actually causes damage to the liver in a lot of cases and can cause systemic inflammation. It can cause inflammation all around the body. So making sure that we get rid of as much gram-negative bacteria as possible to eliminate the production of endotoxin and make sure that it doesn't get into the body to create that inflammation and begin to damage the different tissues in the body, we want to make sure to lower that. Then we have serotonin. So serotonin, 90% of serotonin is actually produced in our gut. So making sure that we take steps to eliminate the production of serotonin, specifically inside of the gut, is going to be very important for mental health as well. So eliminating endotoxin to eliminate inflammation and eliminating serotonin inside of the gut to eliminate all of the downstream effects that serotonin can have is almost endless. Doing those two things is going to make a significant impact on your mental health from a physiological standpoint. Next, you want to make sure that you lower stress hormones. So you want to make sure that you lower cortisol, you lower adrenaline, you lower prolactin, aldosterone, all of those nasty hormones that we don't want in the system. Ways to do this is by regulating blood sugar. Make sure that you regulate your blood sugar throughout the day, because as blood sugar dips, cortisol and adrenaline are going to rise, resulting in all the things that can go haywire whenever they're high in the system, from degrading different tissues in the body. They actually do contribute to frustration and tense muscles and things like that. So we want to make sure that we regulate blood sugar throughout the day. We also want to make sure that whenever we're doing this, that we have whenever we're balancing out the blood sugar, we have a 2-to-1 to 3-to-1 ratio of carbohydrates to protein. This is going to allow for a sustained amount of blood sugar over time. The next thing is rigid and tight muscles. So relaxation is the actual energetically demanding action of the muscles. The contraction of the muscles is actually what is in the absence of energy. So this can be seen in things like rigor mortis. So whenever people die and their bodies stiffen up, that's due to a lack of energy production. They can't relax because their body no longer produces the energy that is necessary in order to allow for relaxation to take place. So it's very important that we do not have rigid and tight muscles. So in the realm of thermo, those are the things that are going to contribute from a physiological standpoint to poor mental health. Here are some things that you can do in order to help improve your mental health. And if you're stuck in a rut right now, you can use these tactics to kind of help pull yourself out of that. The first thing is to remove blockers from your diet and your lifestyle, especially polyunsaturated fatty acids. These are huge. They cause a almost infinite amount of things to go haywire inside of the system. They are going to promote inflammation. They're going to promote estrogen. They're going to promote prolactin. Get these out of your diet. That is huge. Also, removing things like gluten, which is going to be highly inflammatory, and other kinds of grains like that. And gluten has also been shown to have a prolactinergic response inside of the body, increasing prolactin. Make sure to get rid of that. Make sure to get rid of any kind of phytoestrogens or estrogenic chemicals in your diet. Next is to get some sunshine. Sunshine actually helps lower the amount of production of serotonin. It's actually been shown to lower cortisol levels and increase mood. So getting around 20 to 30 minutes of sunshine on a daily basis is going to be ideal. Now, if you don't have access to sun, because wintertime is coming around, it's getting harder and harder to get outside right now, get a red light, get a good incandescent bulb, and spend 30 to 40 minutes under that on a daily basis. Make sure to expose your head to it. If you have any kind of sore or tight muscles or little tweaks, make sure to expose those to it, because it'll help it heal faster. So get some sunshine. If you don't have the ability to get some sunshine, make sure to get a red light or an incandescent bulb, and that can make a significant impact as well. Next is avoid excess tryptophan. So tryptophan is high in chicken and turkey, which, this is coming out right after Thanksgiving and before Christmas. So you don't have to avoid it on, those holidays, but on a consistent basis, avoiding excess tryptophan is going to be huge, because tryptophan is actually a precursor to serotonin. And we don't want high amounts of serotonin in the system. So by eliminating the intake of that precursor it limits the production of that end result. So in this case, the end result would be serotonin. So that's going to be very important. Then you want to take steps to get rid of endotoxin and serotonin, like I talked about previously. Some of the things that you can do in order to do this is supplement with activated charcoal 1 to 2 times a week. Anywhere from 800 to 1200 milligrams is usually going to be ideal. You can actually drink that with a little bit of orange juice because the vitamin C is going to enhance the properties of the activated charcoal. It's actually going to make it work a little bit better. So drinking or supplementing with a little bit of activated charcoal and drinking a little bit of orange juice is going to be a very good stack. Next, get some Cascara Sagrada or Zupu, and make sure that your system is regular. Do a really good cleanse. Get a lot of those different toxins and things like that out of the system. It's going to make a significant impact, especially in the short term. And then some other things that you can do to lower the amount of endotoxin is if you get the dye-free Benadryl, this is actually going to help get rid of serotonin and endotoxin because it helps alleviate inflammation, especially whenever it's derived from histamine. So if you get the dye-free Benadryl, the liquid gels, I'd supplement with those maybe 1 to 2 times a week. It actually tends to help people sleep as well. So if you want to experiment with that, that is a little bit more extreme, but still effective nonetheless. Then we have exercise. So making sure that you get some kind of movement on a daily basis. It doesn't have to be resistance training every single day, but at least getting outside and walking for, if you don't get 10,000 steps, at least 20 to 30 minutes of walking on a daily basis. You can actually use this to get sunshine as well. So you knock out 2 birds with 1 stone. And then, just getting the lymphatic system moving. This is going to help improve circulation as well. It's good for the body. It's good for the body. So get some kind of movement in on a daily basis. You can also stretch. This is going to be huge, as we don't want the rigidness in the body to be present, because the rigidness is the inefficiency of energy utilization. That's what leads to the stiffness. So we want to make sure to avoid that. So get the movement on the daily basis. I can't say that enough. Then make sure you're getting enough sleep. This is one that people, for some reason, they just don't do. And I see people all the time. They complain about, being moody or not or having brain fog and things like that. But they're only getting 4 to 6 hours of sleep on a consistent basis. And you cannot function properly if you do not have adequate sleep. It's just not possible. And a lot of these people that I meet are actually nurses who because of their schedules and things like that, they don't have the ability to get enough sleep. You will perform better if you get more sleep. Get 8 to 10 hours of sleep on a consistent basis if you can. If not, at minimum, try to get 7. And that is at an absolute minimum that I would recommend. So get plenty of sleep and try and sleep as deeply as possible on a consistent basis. And if you have the ability to sleep in on the weekends, that's also a good thing to do if you can. Next, another thing that's going to be really good for mental health is being creative. So this is one that I've also had experienced myself, is whenever you take steps to nurture your creativity, it tends, and it's shown in a little bit of the scientific literature that I've seen, that it's going to promote basically a positive perspective in most cases, depending on the perspective that you take, I guess, going into it. But typically in response to the brighter colors that you tend to use whenever you're in a creative state, or the ability to kind of trace a thought out whenever you're being creative, allows for people to experience more positive emotions. So that's another one. Exploring new places. This one's actually hard. This one and the next one are pretty hard. with COVID and stuff happening right now. But whenever that's over, exploring new places is going to be huge. That actually allows for both of the hemispheres of the brain to begin to work together in order to make new neural connections to learn the new environment that they're in, or that you're in. So exploring new places is really good. Meeting new people is also very good for mental health. It kind of allows you to get out of the pattern that you're stuck in, as well as exploring new places. It kind of disrupts the mental pattern that's happening and allows for those new neural connections to take place. So, meeting new people and exploring new places is definitely on the list, especially whenever COVID's over. It'll be a little easier. Next, learn new things. People who learn on a consistent basis have been shown to have less likelihood of depression and mental illnesses. So, make sure that you are continually learning, even if it's new things about your trade, if it's new things about skills that you already have, or if it's just something that's just completely off the wall. Learn something as much as you can. The next thing is have some sex. People who have consistent sex have been shown in research walk around happier in most cases, especially if it's in a long-term relationship. So if you are in kind of a funk, see if you can convince your significant other to have some sex with you. And then finally, if you're really having some issues, get some help. I think that therapy is something that's looked down upon by a lot of people, but you know, if you're kind of isolated and you really do need someone to talk to, I think it's a very underutilized tool that people can experience value with. So reach out to someone. There's all kinds of resources online where you can reach out to somebody. You can hop on a FaceTime and talk to them. You don't have to leave your house. You don't have to, I mean, it's super cheap in most cases. I think I was doing some research on this one time just because I was curious and I was thinking about possibly doing an episode on this. And I think one was like $5 to $10, which is super affordable. So, if you don't have anybody else to talk to, and they do it professionally, so they know what they're doing and they can guide you in the right direction and give you a lot of different tools and tips. But that's all I got for this episode. I hope that this helps you in some way. I kind of rambled a lot in this episode, but I just wanted to do something short and sweet and get y'all some info. And I hope that anyone who is stuck in a rut right now, I hope this helps pull you out of it. Feel free to hop into the Thermo Diet group or on Umzu Fit and reach out to me. I'll give you all the resources that I can and help you in any way that I can. So feel free to contact me, and I will talk to y'all next time. Y'all have a good one. Stay thermo. Thanks for listening to the podcast. If you haven't already, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you want us to cover a different topic.